Hello, hello. We're setting up. Stand by. We are just setting up for the 8 p.m. Pacific Standard show. Again, we're doing this live stream just to practice our craft and our real-time show, and we just practice how to perform on a live stream. You know, if you can perform live, that means you got your ability to do a showmanship, fearless. You know, if you're good at what you do, you're good at performing. Yeah, so we're just prepping, and we got 5-6 more minutes before we go on the air, or we are on the air. We're just gonna do our opening, season 1, episode 8. Just wanted to welcome everyone on a Friday Reds. As you can see, we have our right here. This particular one right here is Facebook live stream, and this one right here is Instagram. And I think we'll just the way we start and close is so we enter a circle in the east gate, and then we exit of the same entrance as the exit gate, east gate. So pretty much you will see our script. We have this circle going into the circle, and then going out of the circle. So it's shaped like an Om. Om. Yeah, right here. Om. So the entrance gate, right? So beginning and exit. That is the linear process for the show. We usually begin at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, when people watch this, we do this every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Saturday, we make an effort to do this live show, just to practice the craft of relaying a message, delivering our message for our audience, our greater audience up there. Even if it's only a few, 1 or 2, we like to entertain you or inform you for those that are not informed. And so let me start with my electric guitar. Ibanez. I'm not gonna put it on the app because my app has that 60 hertz hum every time I turn it on, so it's probably not well grounded. So we have a red, white, and blue strap. So stand by. We're gonna It is 2 more minutes to go. We're going to begin with the preamble of the U.S. Constitution. You can find it at constitutionus.com. And it's copyrighted 2025, March 8th, episode 8, season 1 of Red Sabbath. Or Sabbath Reds, Saturday Reds. Alrighty. So the preamble of the U.S. Constitution is the mission statement of the Constitution. It's the ideal direction of the Congress to pursue. And it's been fair since 1976. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us from every evil, O Lord. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Yes, welcome on our regular show every Saturday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do this live stream not only to improve our craft as a show host and showrunner, but to, continually inform my Facebook friends as well as my Instagram friends that I have a point of view, and I am as a messenger to bring heaven on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And that is what we call the Lord's Prayer. It's in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, the Lord's Prayer. So what I did was I entered in a virtual Garden of Eden, kind of like a secret password, that in order to get into this ministry, we have to say, "We the people," the preamble of the U.S. Constitution, and then the Star Spangled Banner, and then the Pledge of Allegiance, and then the Lord's Prayer. So that is our login in process to our show, the Virtual Garden of Eden Ministry. So we enter in the east gate of the garden, which is in the scripture, according to the book of Genesis, that the entrance and exit of the Garden of Eden is at the east gate, and there are archangels, security archangels at the east gate, and there's only one entrance and one exit, which is the east gate of the Garden of Eden. And this is the virtual Garden of Eden, how to log in. And so we begin our show this 2025 March 8. We talk about the past. Yesterday we talk about the future, tomorrow, and of course we talk about today and present. And then of course after that talk we do an outro, and then we log out of the Secret Garden Ministry. And so past is past. So I usually talk about past in a very far past. For example, the guitar, this Ibanez guitar, it's an electric guitar, but the original model, or the origin of this Ibanez or Ibanez guitar came from Salvador Ibanez of Spain, Valencia, Spain. Yeah, so electric guitars with amplifiers like this, the Japanese electronic industry came into the market a few years back, I think in the 60s, where they developed the guitar with electronic pickups. And so they took the brand Ibanez And the origin is Salvatore Ibanez of Valencia, Spain. Now, my great-grandfather's mom, my great-grandmother, her last name is Ibanez or Ibanez. And so I'm in the lineage of the Ibanez brand from Spain. Now, what does a Filipino Mexican have to do with Spain? Well, we go back to the past. Now, in the time of Christopher Columbus was an Italian sailor and slaver, like his brother, Christopher Columbus. And they would sail to the West Africa and bring slaves to the north. And that's been a trade since the Roman Empire days of Rome, and in the BCs and what I call it. But in the past, Spain was called Iberia, and the Moors took territories of Iberia. Again, this was the former name of Spain. Okay. Now, this Queen Isabella, she was a princess at the time. She was still learning about Joan of Arc and learning European leaders in that era. And she modeled herself to be like a Joan of Arc of Castile. Castile, Iberia, was a kingdom within what you call Spain, which is Iberia. And women were not as powerful, but this princess, Isabella, needed to align with other kingdoms, and many potential suitors would come her way, but eventually she married Ferdinand Magellan. No, not Ferdinand Magellan, but King Ferdinand of Aragon. So with their unity, King Ferdinand of Aragon and Queen Isabella of Castile joined forces, and they were united and made it upon their kingdom to remove the Moors in Granada, Iberia, which is Spain. Now, my knowledge and information about this, I credit it to YouTube, because I needed to know the origin of Columbus. And Columbus was known to, be the first European to land in the Americas. But his original goal was to find a new path towards India, the Southeast Asia, because it was known as where the first gold rush was. And there were many spices and many goods that was brought by even Roman empires back then. They would go to India and go to bring them in Europe. The Silk Road, as well as sailing, to India. Greeks like the Alexander the Great went to India already. So for such a long time, Europe already has been going to Southeast Asia, but through the other direction towards the east. And so Columbus, on the other hand, said to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, "Hey, if I find a route to India through the west path, it'll be good for the Kingdom of Spain." And of course, he needed budget, and Columbus acquired it from the Kingdom of Spain. At the time, Spain was very powerful because they were able to remove Moors or Muslims in Granada, Spain, or Iberia. And of course, even the Portuguese made peace and became allies of Spain. So the Kingdom of Spain was very powerful in Europe because it was a derivative of the Roman Empire, and they had strong ships, armadas at the time, the armada ships. Yeah, so Christopher Columbus, his goal was to find a way to get to India, or near the land of gold, which was at the time called Christ, for the Greeks called it Christ, and the Hebrews called it Ophir, and the Greeks also called it Tarshish, land of creation, land of gold. So Columbus was a very Bible reading and read about Solomon and his navy, King Hiram, the Phoenicians, and he, based on that, he predicted where the longitude and latitude of the or this land of gold or land of creation. And so he did. And 1492, by the Kingdom of Spain, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Aragon, this Italian sailor, Christopher Columbus Colon, he landed in Haiti. He had thought he was in India, and he called the Taino tribe, the Arawak nation, Indians. And he went further down to Venezuela and saw, paradise, beautiful tropical paradise in Venezuela. So Christopher Columbus thought he was already in the land of creation. But 100 years later, or a few decades later, another sailor, a Portuguese sailor sailing for Spain, his name was Ferdinand Magellan, and he and Pigafetta disproved Columbus. Magellan went to cross the Pacific and landed passed by Maui, Hawaii, and passed by Guam, and landed in Cebu, Philippines, Leyte, I believe. Now there, the longitude and latitude was the one that Christopher Columbus was looking for. It was an exact match where Columbus thought he had an exact location for the land of creation, but Ferdinand Magellan and Pigafetta, his journalist, disproved and stated that Christopher Columbus was wrong. He was in the wrong, a Pacific Ocean away, and he was not in the land of creation, and that Magellan and Pigafetta, his journalist, found the location, the exact land of creation, and that was Ophir or Christ, according to the ancient maps in the time of Christopher Columbus, and in the time of even older ancient maps. Now I got these information too from a research group from One Word, The God Culture on YouTube. So since 2017, nobody has disproven their fact, their research, and their information. So if you're interested in understanding this, you can go to the YouTube channel, The God Culture. It's one word, The God Culture. It's on YouTube. Yeah, so that's the past. Knowing where Adam and Eve were created, the land of creation, knowing where the first gold rush was, or King Solomon's gold, and David, the Hebrews were already migrating to and from, because in the book of Jubilee, which was in the Dead Sea Scrolls book, there were many books that were apocrypha according to the Catholic Church. There were only 66 books in the Catholic Church, but the Ethiopian Bible was more than 80 books. Now, Ethiopians were never, the Roman Empire never decimated or conquered them, and so the Bibles were never modified by the Pharisees. The Pharisees and Sadducees were against Jesus Christ. They did not believe Jesus was, Son of God. So the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were nay. Although they loved God, the Old Testament, the Ten Commandments, they did not have this love for Jesus and understand that he is the only man on earth that resurrected, after a crucifixion from the Roman Empire. So sometime in the 70 AD, a lot of the Pharisees modified the Bibles, and then a lot of the Roman Empire pagans also put their own 2 cents and put together the Catholic Bibles, 66 of them. All my life I've been a Catholic. We were, again, back to why Spain has something to do with Mexicans and Filipinos, is because after 1492, many conquistadors came to what was then called the New World. But there was a block in Haiti that the Europeans could not go to Mexico or Mexica at the time, because the indigenous people were many, and they didn't want, although they took over Haiti where the Taino Arawaks were, they did not want to cross. And I believe it was a Portuguese leader in that for the Spanish Empire. But when Cortez came, he went ahead and crossed from Haiti to Mexico and ruled Tenochtitlan, which was the former name of Mexico City. So from Mexico City, that's where Ferdinand Magellan, they were able to go to the Philippines. And so in those decades from 1492, the conquest of European conquistadors took a lot of territories for Spain. From Florida, Arizona, New Mexico, California. New Spain acquired all those territories. The same with the Philippines. When Magellan died over there in the Philippines, in Cebu, by a chief named Lapu-Lapu, but his journalist Pigafetta was able to survive the war, the battle between the Spanish conquistador and Tlaxcalas that were on the ship and fought the indigenous people of Cebu. Now, the ship returned to Spain and reported and was proof that the path towards the west from Spain was possible, but it was a longer path, not as what Columbus had thought. But the Magellan path was proven to cross the Pacific and get to Maui, Hawaii, not necessarily Oahu. That's a different story with the British, but Guam and Philippines and back to Spain from that path towards India and Indian Ocean. So the old route of the Silk Road, as well as the so that's the story of the past, why Spain's territories grew. It began with Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Aragon. And so Spain, New Spain, became one. Now, in the late 1800s, the Spanish-American War happened. The Spanish-American War, it was really intended to bully the territories of New Spain, because a lot of the Spanish that ruled the galleons and stuff, the Spanish galleons and armadas, they kind of like relaxed for decades, and were not really they were on their comfort zone. So what happened was, when Anglo-Saxons, the Europeans, they took Hawaii, and so on, certain territories that were originally New Spain became a land grab by the British. But of course, when 1776 happened and all that, the 13 colonies, the Americans had wanted to expand to the west, the Manifest Destiny. Now, the Manifest Destiny, they wanted to go from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and they wanted to defeat New Spain. It was called the Spanish-American War. And the Spanish-American War, it was ruthless because New Spain was dormant. They were at a peaceful state of mind, integrated with the indigenous people, integrated with the black people. There was no slavery in New Spain, because one of the presidents was a mulatto, half black, half indigenous, half Spanish. So he part Spanish. So became a president and said no more slavery in 1830, no more slaves in Mexico. But in the meantime, the Civil War was about to blow up between the South and the North. And in the process, the USA 13 colony, I think it had started with President Polk or something. They wanted to acquire the territories of New Spain. Take Florida, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. And that was the manifest. So they equated this, remember the Alamo theme. But in reality, New Spain, those were Spanish territories, and they just used an excuse so that they created war, so to take land or steal the land. And that's what happened. And by the 1900s, the territories of New Spain shrunk. USA took all those territories all the way to the Philippines, even Saipan. So USA territories was huge because Spanish-American War. That was the sole purpose. The war and the rebels fought on, like Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata, because a lot of the presidents that were put by the U.S. were corrupt. Just like California, when the first USA governor for California was Governor Burnett, and he decimated, genocide indigenous people, and kicked out all the Chicanos or the Latinos, Spanish people. But they can never take out all the Spanish names of Sacramento, San Francisco, San Jose, San Diego. Those are all Spanish names. And we still have them today. And of course, Gulf of Mexico, New Spain has always been the territory of New Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico. And if you could look at those ancient maps, and sad part is, the administration today wants to change that name, but it's already been embedded with everybody. I mean, how can you, if you want to, why would you change San Francisco, the name of San Francisco, right? But anyways, so I talked about the past, and the immediate past is like, for the past few weeks or month, the second term of administration, 47 administration, people's tally of how his performance, the 47th administration, when he was elected, or last November, the people voted with a positive 4 or so. But today, because of the mass firing of federal employees that were MAGA supporters of Trump, they got fired. Today it's -7. A lot of the people today, they regret that they made that vote. So a lot of fired federal employees is it's just unjust and uncalled for. Luckily in California, there's the Attorney General that's fighting for these fired federal employees, and so there's a lawsuit that's going on. And so this was just like yesterday or a week ago that a lot of the attorney generals of different states have been trying to defend the federal jobs that were misfiring by this Doge team. It's just a process, not, it's bad. Employers shouldn't, well, they do, they let go of the people that they don't need. But in a government system, there should be like a transitional phase, not to suddenly using a hammer, bang, fire them all. And that's what Doge people have done. And this is, they're supposed to be working for Trump. But, a hammer, you're fired, you're out of here. And so that's bad past. And a lot of the MAGA Trump lovers been victimized. But me, I speak for we the people. That's why the one initial login of this ministry is we the people. The preamble is the mission statement of the Congress, the Constitution. That's the law of the land. And there is a process. There's a due process for any kind of decision, if it was established by the Congress and if it was removed by the Congress. The Congress is the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. It looks good, executive order, but there's a process. If you commit a crime, they can't just put you straight to jail. You as a citizen have a due process right. You have a right, to have representation. So a lot of people just, I don't know, either they're not educated or what. People believe that these mass firing, there's a legal liability to that. And so I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I trust the smart individuals. These are people's lives relying on income. I'm not altruistic or anything. It's just if the process is not constitutional, then and it harms we the people. The mission statement of the Constitution. Let me say that again. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So again, I've talked about the past and the recent, yesterday. Locally, I also attended Modesto area filmmakers, and it was a good attendance. Again, they have an event, 48-hour competition, where you have 2 days of producing a short film, and there's requirements to deliver. There's a specified requirements to deliver a finished film, and so they are starting this end of the month, and the screening is on March 28th. But that meeting was very productive. I met a few individuals that have been trying to, they're from Hollywood and they moved here in this area, but there's no type of work that they were doing in LA. So now they're trying to, and I had a deep conversation with a guy named Kirk, and we, hit it off, and hopefully we'll solve some problems and create jobs locally in Modesto area to showcase more of the talent via film, TV series, or music videos, and content creation in the style of Hollywood business, the business of Hollywood. Not necessarily the creative of Hollywood, but the business of Hollywood. Because the local people here, they're very creative, but lack business. Their business is not in par or still needs improvement. So yeah, Modesto area movement is ran by the, it has its own EIN, and a lot of celebrities hopefully can be invited and donate their time via this EIN, and so we could make we could make some good professional level business minded content in Modesto area. And my first objective is to develop a sales and marketing people, realtors of intellectual property, sales and marketing, because that is very lacking for every content creators here, or individuals that have their own business of being solo performers, even the KJs, as well as karaoke KJs, even live performers, and what do you call it? There's a better formatted, structured business model that's been in Hollywood, because I had over 10 years of observing and actually experimenting in LA since 2002 to 2013, 14. So I had that knowledge and wisdom. But for the past 10 years here, 2014 to 2024, 25, I've been, taking care of my elderly mom, transitioning, and taking care of archives, and hopefully I could slowly focus on the business of entertainment, the sales and marketing, distribution, logistics, and the value of any product from local film festivals or finished goods products by local towns, whether it be music albums or music videos or TV shows, as well as features. And so I'm not Tyler Perry, but that's the objective in the Modesto area, to help other Central Valley film people to create a so that was yesterday's. Of course, yesterday, every time I go to bars, karaoke, or open mics, I meet people, and They all, you know, look beautiful. They're all like, I call them Kara actors, you know, karaoke Kara actors. They have potential to be part of a scene, and if they don't know how to read lines or memorize lines, I will use two teleprompters or three so that people can read their lines, not necessarily, but carry actor read the teleprompter or read the screen, the monitor, not necessarily sing it. If it's a musical, they can sing it, but we'll have three monitors, one for the dialogue, one for each actor, and one for the director. So that's for actors that have no experience. I mean, Kara actors, no experience, but they have experience in singing karaoke. So if you're a KJ out there and you notice, hey, this person looks beautiful, this person can sing well, let me know. You know, I'm looking for talented people that are fearless. They're not afraid of the camera, and they're not afraid of delivering their lines. And so if we have a viewer here, KJ Mark. If you find any of those people, Mark, you know, assist me in casting. It could be an assistant casting director. I'm just looking for people that are willing to participate and help me build this industry in Modesto area, because we can tell our original stories, our local Modesto area, you know, especially the story of American Graffiti by George Lucas. It was about Modesto. Although it was not filmed here, we would like to film it here in the actual Modesto area. Our story. I initiated the story with my business partner, Muggsy, Michael Crithel. I registered a union project called American Pharaohs. But that was before COVID, and then when COVID hit, it just totally stopped. And so I've been trying to relaunch it, and hopefully me and Muggsy, Michael Crithel, we can get enough capital to get this thing going and relaunch American Pharaohs Graffiti. It's basically life in Modesto area, people I meet, reenactments since 2014 to now, reenactments, or actually be creative in storytelling. But it's you know, all the cast and crew, the cast would be most likely local people in Modesto area as themselves or a alias name, because today I call myself MERLE Celeste. MERLE Celeste. Previously it's Stanley Jack Kowalski. A lot of people know me as Stanley. My other name is Mel. Mel, you know, Mel with an E in front, Mel. So I'm going with MERLE Celeste in the character of a talk show host, cowboy, vaquero, not necessarily the cowboy Anglo-Saxon, but the vaquero, Latin, Spanish, Filipino, Mexican. Because Modesto area, the original cowboys, the original vaqueros are the first cowboy throughout the world. The vaqueros, the descendants of the matador, the Spanish New Spain Empire, and since 1492. But today, yeah, so we talked about the Spanish-American War, the Philippine-American War. These are all in the history books. Now, I'm going to talk about the future and tomorrow. We just talked about the past and recent past. Now we're going to talk about far future. Imagine if the Spanish-American War happened again, and this time the Spanish won. How would America be? You know, Selena Gomez and Mr. Blanco, they're winning in the music industry, right? A lot of Spanish telenovela. In fact, locally in Modesto area, I turn my radio station. It's all a lot of Spanish radio stations in the Modesto area. So the Spanish-American War in the future, you better know Spanish, because the Spanish is taking back its territories that were stolen in the 1900s by President McKinley. Oh, by the way, President McKinley was assassinated, just like Abe Lincoln was assassinated. President McKinley that Trump speaks about, he was assassinated. President McKinley by a guy named Leon or something like that. Just Google the history, because apparently he created a lot of enemies when he stole Hawaii, stole Philippines, Guam. Somebody killed him. But future tomorrow, further out, what if the Spanish, runs the world? Oh no, they did that in Spanish-American War. What if China runs the world? What if China are the first to colonize the moon and Mars? Not Elon Musk, because he's done bad things these past few weeks of firing federal employees. But what if China, the Communist Party China, they already developed future technology for generating oxygen out in space. They're advanced already. So they can stay on the moon or even International Space Station. They have an International Space Station already, the Chinese. The Chinese have developed continuous infinite supply of oxygen. And so what if, so you better know, I believe their dominant language in China, the Xi Jinping Communist Party, CCP, it's Mandarin. Mandarin is in the north, I believe that's their majority or dominant language in China. So you better learn Mandarin. Now the Taiwanese and the Cantonese, the Fujian, they're more in the Taiwan and Philippines. Yeah, Taiwan and Philippines. So future-wise, maybe if 47th administration doesn't do well in Indochina, in the Pacific Rim, and they can't remove those trespassers in the West Philippine Sea, the Communist China Party that built the space station, military base stations on the islands, West Philippine Sea, basically they trespassed, taken and built man-made islands, man-made base stations, Chinese base stations, and they try to bully the fishing villages of West Philippine Sea. I mean, China could be the first to land on Mars and colonize the moon and the Mars, because we are so lagging. But that's the future. I foresee that if we the people do not unite and we're divided, because the acts of firing we the people is very ugly. Anyways, that is the future. And so the future present in Modesto is, if I could strengthen Modesto area in creating jobs locally, just by content, by having human faces of red people, white people, and black people, red, white, and blue people, it will show the world that we in Modesto area, we are inclusive, we are diverse, equity, inclusive people, we the people. and that's how I cast on my music videos, in my TV series, and in my features. So this is tomorrow. That's what I'll do. And of course, further out in the future, I don't know if, well, I've seen some prototypes of lightsabers, and I've seen some, like I said, inventions or already applied technologies in space by China. And of course, Japan's hydrogen engines, which obsoletes the electric vehicles, Tesla. The hydrogen engines by these Japanese manufacturers from Honda, combining with Nissan, and all the Japanese are evolving the hydrogen engine. So that is tomorrow. So, all right. So how are we doing in time? Oh, we got about 10 more minutes to go. The goal is to talk about the past, talk about the future, and of course today. Today we're solving problems, problem solving in Modesto area. I try to propose a music video competition or festival during the Mama Modesto Music Awards, but it was rejected. So today, you know, I will just help local musicians who can't afford to produce a music video, and I will help them produce a music video for their original song that talks about Modesto area, right? So if you are a musician or a band or a local artist that has an original song, lyrics, poetry that talks about the Modesto area, I will help produce your music video. I will even do it all if I can. But that's where the film people, the Central Valley Film Project, and the Prospect actors and the Gallo actors and the MJC programs, and of course the Stan State. That's where they come in, and I utilize them today. But in a business-minded, way, right? So anybody that has a song that talks about the Modesto area, Modesto, Stanislaus County, Riverbank, Oakdale, Waterford, Escalon, local cities, even the nearby county, San Joaquin, Stockton, Lodi, Gulf, yeah, Creedence Clearwater Band, they talked about the local area. So we need those storytellers today. We need them today. And as soon as I get my production equipment going, I could do it all by myself, but usually I'm team building, because it takes a village to tell a good story on visual communication. Not audio communication. That's La Mama's responsibility. Modesto Area Music Awards, that's the Mamas. They do that. But for me, it's the visual communication, whether it be print visual, like an album cover, a music video, moving pictures, and use that track to be a soundtrack for a TV show, TV series, web series, online or app, web series, and of course a full feature. And a full feature, I can help syndicate, logistically try to market that. And that's the focus today, is the sales and marketing team. Without it, there's no business, there's no show business in Modesto area. So I am team building sales and marketing people. If you can do that, if you can do realtor transaction, buyer, seller, and sign those boilerplate contracts, if you know contract agreements and the termination deal. Well, I'm not hiring yet. I need to find a budget, deal with SBDC, the Small Business Development Group. And as I spoke to a guy named Kirk, and so that's my job. We got 7 more minutes. So let me bring out my other guitar. Let's see. We're almost done with this Saturday Reds or Red Sabbath. Nothing to do with Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne band, early 60s. The drummer had developed a drumming style that began the metal genre, and bands like Metallica and many more local bands have been performing metal music. Yeah, so this guitar, just want to say that this guitar, I kind of reassembled it back. I've been trying to put a Fender amplifier and a cover, but I decided to keep it as a acoustic, but having a steel string. I've had this guitar for a long time. My friends in Maui, Lahaina, and Wailuku. I used to be a choir member at the St. Anthony's Catholic Church in Wailuku. Wailuku is the city capital of Maui. Lahaina is on the west side, I believe, and the airport is in Kahului in Maui. But the church that I sang, I went through all the churches there in Christ the King and Kihei, but my main church there was St. Anthony's of Wailuku. And when I left back to the mainland, California, I was given this guitar. Lahaina burns. The Lahaina Fire. 2023, August 8th. I composed this in August 11th. This is an original poetry media called Lahaina Burns. Lahaina burns. Lahaina burns. I remember under the banyan tree, tears came falling down my eyes. In Lahaina, Lahaina, Lahaina burns. Lahaina, Lahaina burns. Oh, Lahaina, Lahaina, Maui burns. All right, it's still unreleased. Again, I composed that song in 2023, August 11th, after August 8th fire and devastation. It was incrementally reporting death fire victims from 68 up to 100 plus. And they've just recently announced by the mayor of Lahaina, Bison. He reported just recently that all the land that were burned and all the toxic chemicals were all removed, and so it's ready to be rebuilt, the area that was totally burned. So Lahaina Burns is a song I should record and finish, but that's the process, or that's the what do you call it? Oh, we're almost there. Anyways, I have a song that I'm working on again. Lucky One or Lucky Woman. This project 2025 to 21-27, it's gonna be a non-ending song, non-ending TV series or web series. Oh, it's taking time, so long I've waited for that someone to carry away. If you are the lucky woman, forward your love and brighten up my day. If what they say is true, if dreams really do come true, then whoever it is that's meant for me, the lucky one, she will be my love forever. She will have the love no woman's ever had. She will be my love, my life. She will never have to find another love. Yeah, Lucky One. You can find that album everywhere. Lucky One, featuring the Ross sisters. ROSSSISTAS. Sisters. All right, Lucky One. And in that album, you will find Lucky Woman by yours truly. So that will be the soundtrack for this thing that I'm planning. All right, so we're going to close. We're going to log out. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, we're going to outro. We're going to reverse what we logged in to the Secret Garden Ministry virtual sphere, where there's the only one entrance, the east gate, and then one exit. So we're going to log out in the order of the Our Father, which is the Lord's Prayer according to Matthew chapter 6, the Pledge of Allegiance, the Star Spangled Banner, and then the We the People, and then that ends the show for this 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, from 8 to 9 Pacific Standard Time, Season 1, Episode 8 of Red Sabbath. All right, so here we go. We'll play this guitar. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us from every evil, Lord. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner